Thank you. It's so good to be here with you today, and it's good to see young faces in the crowd that are willing to get involved and to understand about government and civics, because those of us that have gray hair, like my friend Rick Berg, who's back here, I think he's going to say hello to you. We're not going to serve forever, and we want to be sure that we have the soldiers that are behind us coming and ready to serve when we're finished serving, and in the meantime, you can help us fight the battle. As Joe Walsh said, we're just spending too much money here in Washington, and I want to give you an analogy that I use in my district where when we talk about trillions of dollars, it's awfully hard for people to understand. I still have a hard time having trillions of dollars come off my tongue. The only thing I ever knew about trillions of dollars when I was a little kid, I'd say, well, I'll bet you $1 trillion, and of course that was a fictitious number. Well, now we're dealing in trillions of dollars, and we're $14.3 trillion in debt. But here's the analogy. The analogy is, let's say I have a household income of $35,000, and I find some things during the year that I think, well, I'd really like to have this and maybe a new car and maybe that, and so I bring in $35,000, but I spend $38,000. Well, that's called a deficit because I'm spending more than what I'm bringing in. So what do you do when you spend more than what you bring in? What do you put it on? Credit card. Okay, so our credit card is our national debt. And that's what's happened over the past 60 years, is even in the good times, there has been a habit here in Congress where we have spent more than what we bring in. And it's finally caught up to us, and now we're in a big conversation about what are we going to do about raising the debt ceiling. And Representative Walsh has just talked about all the conversations that are taking place over at the White House. But I want to tell you that my freshman colleagues and I came here to Washington to change the way that Washington is operating. We're not going to keep kicking the can down the road and every year just raise the debt ceiling without doing something. We have a plan, and our plan not only talks about cutting, which needs to be done, but also talks about some structural changes where we can put some handcuffs on Congress and say, you cannot keep up with this habit. We sent a letter to the president over 30 days ago, myself and 76 of my freshman colleagues, asking the president, where's your plan? The only plan that he has is to raise more taxes. And raising more taxes on businesses and individuals right now will not help the economy. It will only do the opposite. It will kill our economy. Businesses say, stop taxing me, stop mandating, stop over-regulating, and I will grow my company, I'll grow jobs, therefore the economy will grow. So we've got our heels dug in to say that things are going to be different here in Washington than they have been in the past, and with 87 new freshman Republican colleagues, I believe that we can make a difference here in Washington. So thank you so much for having me here today. I look forward to more conversations and working with all of you on our issues as we move forward. And I'm going to have to run. I know Rick Berg is going to maybe address you for just a moment. We're in Ways and Means, and in there we're dealing with the issues having to do with free trade, so important issues in there as well. But thank you so much for having me here today.